Deputy Fund Manager James Timpson's with me right now to give us an overview of market performance and activity throughout October. James, your last report was quite a dismal one. How's it been the last month for you and the investment team?
Yeah, so in last month's commentary I mentioned that September had been the worst month for global equities since the pandemic broke out in March 2020. But the good news is October was a lot better. Markets did bounce back a bit. So the FTSE 100, for instance, that picked up around 3% during the month. Over in the US, the S&P 500 index was up around 8%. And that's because a lot of companies in the US, when posting their earnings, posted better than expected earnings. So things were looking up over there. It hasn't been positive in every market though. The notable exception is China. So Chinese stocks were down 16% during the month following the re-election of President Xi Jinping for a third term. But outside of China, it's been mostly positive in the equity markets. And the MSCI World Index, which is the index which tracks global developed market equities, that's up 7% for the month. So there's been a bit more optimism amongst investors in the last few weeks.
And the poor performance over in China has not hurt us at all, has it?
No, so we don't have any direct investments in China at all. So we haven't been hit by that at all.
James, thank you. So the appointment of Sunak as Prime Minister seems to have had a good response from the markets. Do you expect this to carry through? Gary mentioned he thinks we're through the worst of it. Your sentiment, is that the same?
Yeah, so one thing we saw when Jeremy Hunt reversed a lot of those tax increases announced by Kwasi Kwarteng, then Liz Truss resigning, Rishi Sunak becoming the new Prime Minister, we saw gilt prices recover a bit, having reached some highs not seen for 10 years in September. Gilt yields just dropped back a bit, which was good for gilt prices. And we also saw the pound recover as well from its all-time low that it saw in September. It ended October at around $1.15, so that's recovered a bit as well. The budget, which Rishi Sunak was going to announce on the 31st of October, has been pushed back to the 17th of November, I think, so we should hopefully find out then exactly what he has in store for us, and we'll be on top of that when it happens.
It's much expected that the interest rates will rise today. That will have happened by the time that this video is out. So on the assumption that it will rise, is there any actions and steps that you've been taking?
Well, the expectation is that the Bank of England is going to increase interest rates by as much as 0.75%, which will take the base rate to 3%. But because this is so widely expected, we're not expecting a huge market reaction today because they're already expecting it. We have, over the last couple of months, just been increasing duration slightly in the cautious and balanced risk funds. That's because gilts, with their yields having risen so much over the last few months, are looking a lot more attractive than they were at the start of the year when you're seeing gilt yields at record lows. So we have been increasing duration, giving us some more exposure to fixed income, but we're not expecting a continued surge in interest rates. At some point, and they will start to recover again. So
just quickly to wind up, James, the general performance across the range of Courtiers funds over the last few months, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, we've been really pleased with how the funds have performed this year. One of our biggest positions throughout the year has been maintaining short duration, so we haven't had huge exposure to the big falls we've seen in the bond market, and that's been particularly evident in the cautious and balanced risk funds, who have maintained much less exposure to the bond market than the average fund within their peer group. So we've been really pleased with how they've done.
Fantastic. And you will be summarising the year's performance at the client seminars. This is our last monthly market update of 2022. So thank you, James. We shall look forward to seeing you on stage, giving us an overview of market activity throughout 2022, performance of the Courtiers funds, and that's going to be broadcast live online on Friday the 16th of December. So if you've not yet registered, jump onto the Courtiers website, client seminars, and register through there. Thanks for now.